Today I'm going to be talking about Tesla stock and how I think you should not be buying this stock right now. And if you own it, I would heavily consider selling it at the moment. And in fact, some people might even want to consider buying puts on this. But first, before I get into my analysis of the stock, I just want to say I have no ill feelings toward Elon Musk. I actually think he's a great visionary individual. He's always been someone who really is very different from your typical CEO. Most CEOs are pretty boring individuals who really are afraid to think outside the box, do something completely new, and really just not really worry about what people think. If you think about it, when he created PayPal, he didn't wait for federal approval to create PayPal. In fact, in many ways, when he first started PayPal, there were all these complex banking laws that made it very, very difficult to create PayPal to begin with. The idea of transferring money through the internet, that was really a very complicated and really a legally confusing area of the law. It really wasn't a very clear thing at all when he first started it. So he didn't go to Congress and the state legislatures and say, hey, I have this idea of PayPal, can I get approval? I think he just kind of started it, and the laws kind of caught up as time went on, and it was a really huge issue. So I actually think he is one of the most visionary people of our time period. Now, but that's completely different from the issue of whether you should buy Tesla stock. I actually have on many occasions went to like a Tesla showroom, and I must admit, I'm definitely not a Tesla fanboy. I'm a lot more objective about my analysis of cars. Even though I'm not that into electric cars in general, I understand the appeal of it. I understand why some people like it. The acceleration is definitely a lot faster because you can go to the highest gear just immediately. There actually are no gears. There's just no hesitation. It's not first gear, second gear, third gear. But here's the funny thing. I actually took a date once to a Tesla showroom because I was kind of curious about the whole experience of looking through the Tesla. And one thing that many different women have said when I showed them, and they were obviously not Tesla fangirls, they all said, hey, this just feels kind of like a cheap car, to be honest. Just like the seats are kind of crappy. The seats are really seriously kind of like a joke. It's really nothing home to write about, Elon. I think even he would realize that he's economized quite a bit on terms of the seats, and I actually really value high quality seats. Anyway, I got that out of the way. I think Elon is great. I think the car is okay. But I think that for that kind of money, he probably could get like a Mercedes. So let's focus on the stock. Right now, people are paying a fortune for Tesla stock, and that's okay when it was going up. The PE ratio doesn't matter a whole lot when you're focusing on a growth stock. What you're paying for is the expectation that the growth will continue for an extended duration. So I know a lot of people, they say, oh, the PE should be 12 or 15 or something like that. So when you have something that was for 1,000, that may sound like it's extremely expensive, and in fact it is. But while things are going up, it doesn't matter. You're still making money, and if a stock is going up, can you really complain about that? The problem is when a stock stops going up, and Tesla has stopped going up. It actually is down 35% from the high, and I know that there are so many Tesla fanboys. They love to say things like, "Oh, you should buy this dip. This is an innovative company. This is going to continue going to the moon forever." And now Tesla has diversified because they're making money from Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will help it go up. Wait a minute, Bitcoin's been going down too lately. So the thesis for Tesla continuing to go up is not continuing right now. Tesla has broken down below the 50-day line, and it's actually just on the 200-day line. Now once it goes below the 200-day line, that's when things start to get a little bit problematic for the stock, because then it's a matter of, oh, there's a little bit of support here, maybe there's a little support there, but that's when you get the more problematic, you might start seeing signals of things starting to crash, because you saw a lot of greed on the way up. Everybody was so optimistic, they were all excited, and they were all telling themselves how smart they were that they bought Tesla as it went up. And even though people like me were doubters, and in fact I was even looking at puts at the time until I just got tired of looking because it just kept going up. But now is a make or break moment in time, because Tesla has gone up very similar to Qualcomm in the 2000s. It just went up straight up, like 800% in a single year, which is pretty insane amount in a single year. But the problem is that what we're going to start seeing is that on the way down, you start to see the change in the psychology. You see the fear. That's when you start to see the massive selling, if it breaks down below the 200-day line. Now, let's talk a little bit about why Tesla is probably starting to peter out as time has gone on. Well, for one thing, interest rates are really dirt cheap now. And for an interest rate, people don't realize it, but these kind of growth stocks, they are very sensitive to interest rates, because that can impact the earnings, especially over the long run. And so when we have extremely low interest rates like we have now, any kind of talk about it going up, any kind of indication that interest rates may be going up, is going to really hit Tesla hard. This stock, when you're paying that extreme price for Tesla like you are right now, it doesn't take a whole lot for something to really almost prick that pin of that bubble, and it's about to pop on that one. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that when Tesla first started, I remember these kind of green cars like the Prius and things like that, they weren't very cool at all. They were terrible. They looked bad, and it was almost like when you bought a car like that, you did it to show that you were willing to sacrifice by buying an unattractive car to help the environment. And obviously Tesla changed that rule. Elon Musk said you don't have to believe in a lot of this green stuff in order to like Tesla, because he made it in a cool way. It is a cool design, and it goes fast. It's not slow like a Prius. And so that was where the innovation happened. But here's the thing: there's no monopoly that he has. It's not like Apple's ecosystem where Apple doesn't let anybody compete. There's no rule that says another company can't compete with Tesla, and many are competing. You're getting Volkswagen. In fact, if I were into electric cars, I would buy the Porsche Taycan, I think that's what it's called, because I believe that Porsche just knows how to manufacture cars a lot better than Tesla. Tesla has had so many issues, and even though I think Elon is cool, I just don't think he actually knows how to really manage a car company all that well. I mean, if he's talking about working with developers at Dogecoin, which I don't think that exists, it just makes me wonder, how does he have time to actually really work on this car company? Whereas at Porsche, that's all they do. They're not focusing on working on cryptocurrencies.
But from what I have read, they are going to switch maybe to proof of stake on the Dogecoin.
But we're talking about Tesla.
Right.
Okay. So anything other comment about Tesla?
Well, I would have to say that I agree that the interior of the Tesla car is not that impressive. I've always felt that it's kind of mediocre. It's almost like going into a Honda or something inside.
Yep.
So I don't think it's really worth the premium.
It's a huge premium. If you're going to spend that kind of money, I honestly believe that if you're into electric cars, the Porsche has a wonderful, I think it's called a Taycan, and looks really good. Now, the other issue is just that Tesla hasn't really innovated the design for a long time. If you look at their highest Model S, I think people even complained to Elon and said, hey, it's basically the same car for an extended period of time. So I know how people are. They don't like keeping the same design for a long period of time, and I always thought that's kind of a little bit strange that the design doesn't change all that much. I mean, even though the 911 keeps the original form factor, there is an evolution, and you could easily say, hey, that's a 911, but it's continues to improve over time. So I think the fact that the cars themselves are a little bit stagnant, they haven't really updated a lot of them, I think that's a negative. Another thing is he shows products that are really late. Like there was that sports car that's supposed to go to 60 in 2.2 seconds. Then there was that truck that a lot of large companies supposedly put down payments on to get that, and where is that? Is that one reason why people were willing to pay so much for the stock for these cars that are not yet available? And then there was the Cybertruck, and the only one I know of that is on the road is the one that Elon drives. So where are those cars? I haven't really seen them. The other problem is that Tesla also owns Solar City, which was a separate company that Elon created, and that I remember when I was a private stock, that was never very good stock, and I think some people have said it's a little bit strange how Tesla bought it out. It might have even been a conflict of interest because it wasn't a very good company, and it might be a bad deal for Tesla shareholders to buy out Solar City. So that's another factor. The other thing is, I think at the valuations that Tesla is at, it would almost assume that so many cars on the road would be Tesla instead of any other car, and that just isn't the case. People are not. Tesla is a kind of a one-trick pony focused on a very small market, wealthy people. In the wealthy neighborhoods, yeah, you see Teslas. I mean, not every car is a Tesla, but there are quite a number of them. But it still doesn't really justify the valuations. It would almost assume that a large percentage of the cars on the road will be Teslas. Even though California claims that they're going to even ban gas-powered cars, well, we don't know if that's going to happen or not. But even if that were the case, that doesn't mean Tesla wins. I mean, the stockholders almost assuming that nobody else could come up with the idea of electric cars, and they all are working on it, and there's really no reason to think that Tesla will win out. They haven't really proven that they are able to produce vast quantities of cars and with real high quality, like what Toyota is, as an example. Anyway, I hope that I was able to explain why I think Tesla is going to be going down in price. You should sell it probably. I mean, don't get mad at me if I'm wrong and it goes to the moon. I would sell it if I own the stock. And please click like, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.